Welcome back to another episode of In Depth. My name is Luke Hardacre, and I'm a surf coach at Ombi. If you're new to Ombi, we take a look at surfing from the perspective of ocean, mind, body, and equipment. This podcast is all about straight to the point tips, things that you can take away, implement into your surfing, or things that help you change the way you view your surfing. This week's episode also backs off last week's episodes all about barrel riding, and this is going to help you with your takeoff. So let's get into it. Is your pop-up holding you back? Do you sometimes go for a wave, wipe out and think, what just happened? Or is your pop-up running hot and cold, where sometimes it's totally fine and other times, what the hell? Assuming you have no issues with physically doing the movement, most of the time, people have two issues with their pop-up. It's either a looking problem, and you're looking down, which is sending the signal to your board to go down, or it's a mental thing, and you're negatively responding to the surf. This is all about increasing the consistency of your pop-up by ejecting your mind with this simple hack you can do in your next surf, your next wave. It's so simple. This will also help with where you're looking, but I'm not going to dive into the full breakdown of that in this guide. That's going to come in a follow-up further down a couple weeks, full-on pop-up episode about everything regarding it. Most surfers aren't aware, but they're negatively responding to the stimulus in the surf. Whether that's someone in your way, the crowd, the wave suddenly standing up, a lack of confidence, or fear and anxiety. There's so many things that can negatively impact how you deal with this situation, which is why the mental side of surfing can be so difficult, and surfing is distracting, and we are creatures of habit, and we constantly go into fight or flight mode and freeze as well. And there's a system for understanding how this all happens, and it's referred to as DIPPY. And DIPPY stands for danger, interesting, pleasurable, and important. And it's somewhat of a priority system for information that comes through us and how we naturally respond to it, with dangerous things overcoming pleasurable things. There's a whole other conversation and something we go into our programs, and something that's been brought up in previous podcast episodes in greater detail. But the problem is that you need to manage all that information and how it can control you. Saying maybe tries to take that thought of something dangerous and trying to lower it down to pleasure, taking it to fun or something less controlling. We're always going to respond to danger first. But asking maybe or reframing that conversation is all about taking control of that information. If you don't control your mind, it will control you. People often struggling with inconsistency in their pop-up will tend to be subconsciously dealing with some stimulus causing them to lose focus. They're overthinking their pop-up, and they might end up stuffing it up, or they're just self-doubt and pushing themselves back down. So how do we then implement this in the surf? The next time you find yourself being held back, try asking these questions. Maybe. This could be really fun. I could get a heap of speed here. This could be an insane drop. Anything like that is about shifting it from the negative to possibilities and allowing yourself to be surprised by what you can do when you try. Saying maybe is great, but there's an easier way to just completely shut part of our brain out during the pop-up. But why would you want that though? Well, you already know how to move and do the pop-up. You've probably done it a million times by now. In this instance where things are distracting, you want your body just to act, to do what it needs to do without you complicating it. I want you to next time do this to eject your brain and go into autopilot. There are two methods. They're both near identical, but They work in really different ways and for different scenarios, and they're based on what you want. This trick here, or surf hack, whatever you want to call it, is to psych yourself up for heavier waves. And it's amazing when the waves are hollow, they're closing out, you're distracted and looking at the bottom of the wave, or you feel any level of fear or discomfort. This is all about turning that fear into fun and ignoring it. It's a hell yeah or a nah. So what you do is when you see a wave, don't question it. Make the choice of only hell yeah or nah. There is no in between. It's 100% commitment or nothing. So hell yeah all the way. You commit. You start paddling to position yourself and go for the wave. While you're doing this, you need to block out every instinct in you that says don't do this, or what can go wrong, or this or that, or anything else. You do this by sticking your tongue out and making the most obscene noises you can. Your focus is then on sticking your tongue out and making the noise, and not on what may or may not happen. It becomes a scenario where you're just doing. And to save your ears the trouble, I'm not going to make an obscene noise into the microphone, but I'm sure you can use your imagination. This is just random, loud, strange noises. And it sounds so stupid. And you may think you will feel stupid doing it. But I guarantee once you feel it and have success with it, you're not going to feel stupid. You're hijacking your brain to expel positive energy and making that noise so loud that it will drown out all the crap that normally enters, the things that are bogging your pop-up. Your body knows how to pop up. Just move aside and let it do it. This also changes your expectations and forces you to be in a mode of let's have fun. And just doing is fun. It's infectious. And now whatever happens is fun. There's no expectation other than committing and having a go at the takeoff. In one stupid moment, so much is internally going on that is positive for you. You're surfing and just having more fun. Most people will look at you and just think they're having a lot of fun. Wish I was enjoying it that much. And to be honest, for the people who sit there and think I'm self-conscious and I don't want to look like an idiot, I've done this with friends. I've done this with work trips. And to be honest, no one has ever noticed me doing it. They just see me going for a wave. They don't sit there and think like, oh, what is he doing? He looks like an idiot. What is that noise? They're internal worrying about their own selves. They're looking for a wave. They're doing this and that. They're thinking this. They're not worried about what you're doing. So just do it. Go for it. See how it changes your takeoff. The second method is really similar, but is entirely different. It's for when you feel stressed or pressured. A good example of that is surfing in the wave pool. Every wave has a cost to it, and you have the old peanut gallery staring at you, and you think everyone's looking at you. It's an artificial, stressful situation. And the best thing you can do is block all that out. So like the previous method, it's a very similar, except instead of psyching yourself up, you want to de-stress and basically say, I don't care what happens here. We do this by letting out a full body sigh, loud and long. Very loud, very long. Like you've just been asked to do the most annoying thing in the world. Kind of, we all know it, we've all done it, and the full apologies if that went into the ears badly. You do this exactly the same way. Paddle for the wave, and as it approaches, or you're about to get to your feet, let out a full body sigh. While you're doing it, think, okay, come on, if I have to, let's just do this thing. It's this negative attitude of, I don't care, but we're using it for a positive gain. It's surprisingly effective, and no one ever notices you doing it. The power in it is that suddenly you don't care if you make it or not. You're just going with the flow, like some invisible force is pushing you along to do this. When you go to do your pop-up, it's not about all the stress and more about, okay, let's just get this over with. When you get to your feet, you can then go, what now? If pressure is still there, keep going in the same mindset or do it again. Both of these techniques are fantastic. And they're both things I implement based on scenarios of what's going on and how I need to relax. But what most people will miss is they're also removing tension in you and your body. It's exhaling air out and softening the body. Try doing a full body sigh and allow your body to be locked up and stay locked up and tense. It's almost impossible. Tension is the enemy of all surfing and will cause you to lock up, move ineffectively, and your style will go out the window. In these scenarios where there is fear or doubt, tension will be manifesting one way or another, and it's a good way to quickly kill your pop-up. It's a whole other topic on its own, but it's the less tension you can surf with, the better. Think Steph Gilmore, Mikey February, cool and calm. You should always be trying to remove tension in your surfing and body. It will be there whether you're aware of it or not. Doing this will start the wave off better and allow you to just act. You're going to start taking more things in. You'll see what the wave is doing and pay more attention to it, just because your peripheral vision will pick it up because you're not stressing out about this and that. So in summary, let go of the distractions and eject your brain so your body can just act. It knows what to do, so move aside and let it. We are our own worst enemies. If you need to be psyched up or deal with fear, it's either a hell yeah or a nah. 100% commitment, and then as you paddle into the wave, stick the tongue out, make the most obscene noises you can, look as mad as you can, and just go for it. Have fun with this one. Honestly, it'll change the way you have a session, and there's so many little hidden self-help benefits within that one of how you feel about the session and how before and after, and as you carry on with the waves. There's a lot to it. You're tricking your brain into having fun. If it's a stressful environment, do a full body, extended and loud sigh. Tap into negative energy to create a positive outcome. Treat it like you don't care what happens and you're just going to go along with it all. If you'd like to improve your surfing, you can start a 14-day free trial. The link is in the description below. You can do our beginner and intermediate structured training follow-along programs where there are 6 and 12 sessions each, which will get you from everything you need to know, breaking those bad habits. And then we also have our maneuver deep dives. Every month we launch a new maneuver, breaking it down in structured training and giving drills for beginners, intermediates, and advanced surfers to work on that one aspect. And if you're still unsure, not sure where to start, you can do the free Ombi Method training program. Completely free. The link is in the show notes as well. And you'll find it'll explain so much about surfing, what we go through, what we experience, how to navigate this whole process of learning and getting better. And it'll also give you some training so that you can get something away from it and implement that into your surfing. So, is this something you're going to do? Is it something you've seen someone do before or something you already do? I'd love to know. You can reach out anytime. You can either message me in the app, send me an email to info@ombi.co, or any of the other ways that you have of contacting us. If you haven't joined the community app, it's completely free. Comes with the Ombi Method program and a bunch of other free training programs. And next week, I'm going to follow this up with how you can nail those steep takeoffs. And again, this episode, the previous one, and the next one, they're all kind of interlinked. They all kind of deal with some similar situations, but they've been so detailed. The best way was to strip them apart and have them as one-on-one. So if you have an issue with steep takeoffs, then next week will be great. And this technique right here is going to help you with that. And it's the same thing with your barrel riding, that these will all come together. So until then, I'll see you next time.